talking. I got to tell you about the situation with my mom. All right. So, uh, she sends me a text earlier today telling me that she might have given a scammer some of her information. So I'm at work at the time, I'm at home working from home, and I'm like in a meeting, and I fucking read this text, dude, and I'm just like it blew my whole day up because she's my mom. She's not tech savvy at all. I love my
Yeah.
mom, but she's not very tech savvy. So I wasn't super surprised, but I was also like, come on, man. Really? She fell for one of those scams. So I got more info from her, but I ended up having her. I told her to come here because I needed to hear it like from her. I need to be in person to talk to her, kind of
Yeah.
understand what the situation was. So I was like freaking out about it all day, like thinking about, oh shit, like what are identity protection services I can get for her and all this shit. So turns out she was fucking on eBay, and I don't know how this happened, but I went and looked at her browser history. So she was on eBay, and she must have clicked on something that sent her to a website, because she went to some weird website called, I don't even know, it was like Viso Host or something like that. And there was a URL that literally downloaded it and installer. It was in the URL. It was like install. So something got installed on her computer, and it popped up and like locked her computer down, and she freaked out and called the phone number that was on the pop-up.
Was ransomware.
Yeah, sort of. Well, no, dude. So there's this guy that does this channel where he basically scammer, not scams, but like he pretends to be like an old lady, and he calls these scammer numbers
Yeah.
and tries to fuck with them basically. And it's fucking hilarious, by the way. But so it was one of those, because what it was, she told me basically all the things that they said. They were one of those ones that were trying to get her to buy gift cards. Like they wanted her to get into
Yep.
they wanted to get into her bank account, and then she refused to do that. So then they were like, okay, well, go to the store and buy like 4 Xbox gift cards. And then
Yep.
yeah, and then when they said that, she was like, no, I'm done. She hung up the phone. So she gave them like what would basically be public information, and it's nothing like serious. So I'm actually not really that concerned about it. But I didn't really get there until she came over earlier and I talked to her. So it was
Mhm.
it's just like I was like, God damn it, is my mom's identity gonna get stolen today? But yeah, it's just funny though, because my wife is like really obsessed with those channels that do that kind of spoofing on those scammers. And I was like,
Yeah.
my mom's literally one of these people. I'm like, oh my God, bro. Like so I think everything's fine. She actually has like identity protection, actually she pays for it too. So
Yeah.
so she should
You
be fine. But
kind of need it nowadays. I usually get it every time my taxes renew. They offer
yeah,
the service. TurboTax offers like VPN or Norton or something like that.
yeah,
Norton LifeLock.
LifeLock, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I have. So I
I'm
use
thinking
every time I
about it.
redo my taxes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because yeah, man, it's scary out there, bro. It's fucking the shit people do are crazy. But these scammers are funny. The gift card ones, because they are fucking morons. Like the people that you actually get on the phone with, like
Oh yeah.
they literally just read a script and they are completely incapable of doing anything other than that. That's why the YouTube channel is so funny, because the guy knows it's a script, so he tries super hard to derail them off of the script in some way. And it's really funny because they get fucking mad, dude. They start yelling at you and shit. Like it's pretty funny. So just be careful out there, everybody. If you got a parent, probably not the most tech savvy, just be a little careful. Just give them advice, let them know. Don't call fucking phone numbers that pop up on your computer. All right, like it's not a thing to do. So, Montrell, how's life treating you, man?
I have been super busy.
Well, you were
Not
out of
super
town
busy.
for 3 days, right?
Yeah. And yeah, we've just been handling a lot of stuff this weekend, and then my girl has to do a lot of other stuff this weekend. So I would probably be to myself this weekend, this upcoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I gotta, if it doesn't rain, I'm gonna I gotta
Gotta finish
finish
the
like the
yard.
backyard and trim the bushes and stuff. I
Man.
don't really want to trim the bushes too much because they give me privacy on my windows. So I'm still debating on that. But I definitely need to tackle the backyard. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that this weekend.
You know
Um
you want to get on Apex this weekend. Come on, man.
no,
You
I
just
am gonna
came
get on
up.
Apex.
Okay.
I got on last night, a little bit last night, but I just wasn't feeling it. It was me and Brad, and I just really wasn't feeling it. I think Brad probably thinks he did something, but it was just I got home, bro.
Yeah.
Because I drove home yesterday. Um, so I went to San Antonio on Monday. I got there. Uh, I helped out a little bit. Did what I needed to do. I had a nice hotel. It was a decent hotel.
Hmm.
It was a Hyatt or whatever, and everything like that. I didn't really explore San Antonio because I just didn't feel like it. Next day, we went out and we had to do some more work, and I came back to the hotel room again, and I thought I was gonna explore, but I was just like tired, and yeah, I just sat in my room, and I got a company credit card, so I just ordered food
Hmm.
out the
Hmm.
car and ate, and then went to sleep.
Hmm.
Then I woke up, went to Austin, uh, where one of the offices is at down there. Kind of stayed in there, but the IT not met the IT team, but visit them. Went out to lunch with them and everything like that, and
Hmm.
then I drove back, and I don't know why. Now the drive up was okay. I stopped at Bucky's and called my mom and everything, and showed her Bucky's because she never knew what Bucky's was and everything
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
The drive up was fine. It was decent. It was the drive back that took, and it wasn't like there was traffic or anything. It just took fucking forever. I don't know why. I don't think I was just over it and I wanted to go home. Uh, so yeah, the drive back seemed like it took forever. I got back around 4:30. I turned in the rental car. I didn't get back. I didn't get home until 5 because I had to wait for Uber to pick me up.
Hmm.
Um, then once I got home, my uncle called me and was like, "Hey, I'm actually in Texas because like somebody on my mother's side of the family died, but I don't really know them. It was like way deep in the family.
Hmm.
Um, so he's in Texas for that, and he's like, yeah. He actually called me while I was on the highway. And he was like, yeah, I just got off at 35. I just turned on 35 in Frontage Road, and I'm like, bro, you're like 30 minutes behind me. He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just came back from Austin." He's like, "Yeah, I was just driving. I flew into Austin. I'm driving down to Dallas, and I'm driving back or whatever to Austin again." I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I was like, "Yeah, call me when you get in town, and then we can hang out." Because he went over to my older cousin's house,
Hmm.
and yeah, so all my family from Louisiana was out there. So when I got back in town, I only had time to play one game of Apex and like sit down and like chill a little bit with my cats and my wife. And then I
Hmm.
had to get back up again and then drive. I didn't have to drive too far. My cousin lives like 10 minutes away from me. So I drove over there and then I spent time over there with my family, with my distant family from Louisiana because I haven't seen them in like years. So then I got
Yeah.
back around like 9:30, and then I tried to jump on the game with Brad, and yeah, I just wasn't feeling it, man. Like I don't know, it was all right, but nothing was Apex was doing or ever. It was just I wasn't feeling it. And then I got offline because we were just playing duos, and since he's on PC, we play in the PC lobbies, and I'm starting to think. I mean, I've been thinking this before, but like with Apex in general, I just think when I played like one or two games earlier by myself. So when I'm playing by myself, I play with the console people,
Hmm.
and it's not that bad. I can still get a decent amount of kills and everything. But even though they did this ban hammer and ban wave, it's just the PC people are fucking sweaty. Like we were
Yeah.
playing norms, and they're just sweaty, bro. And I don't know. I think, yeah, I just think the PC population of Apex is just super fucking sweaty at this point.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop it or curb it. It is what it is at this point.
Well, it's the game
Um,
they've curated. You know.
yeah, yeah. Because me and Brad were playing duos, and I was trying to hot drop just to get back into the thick of it because I haven't played Apex in like almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I just tried to get back into the thick of it, and it was just like we were just getting we had a couple good fights or like maybe one or two good fights, but then it'd just be some fucking literally like triple master. We went against a triple master wraith and a 20 bomb Bangalore, and I'm like, bro, what is this game, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I don't know. So that wasn't a good experience with Apex. Like the first day coming back, I was really trying to play the patch and everything, and I just wasn't
Mhm.
feeling it. So I don't know. I'm just like blah right now.
Fair enough. We'll try to play some tonight, maybe if you're down. All right. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the Players Take, episode 220. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, as always, Montrell Rice. And I'll just get into the whole rigmarole. This is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. All right. So yeah, there's not a lot of news this week. This is a very slow week in video games.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk through what we've been playing, which we've done a little bit of that already, and then there may be some Zelda talk later in the show. But yeah, this is gonna be a short one, guys. So uh, we'll uh, we'll uh, we'll get through what we can, see where we go, see where these conversations take us. So, Marshall, let's get into what we've been playing. I know you talked about Apex a little bit. Um, we have been playing League still,
Hmm.
of course, and that's been pretty good. It's some nights are good, some nights aren't. It's just kind of the way the game is now. We're in that equilibrium. I feel like of MMR
Well,
where.
I will say I think we got the team on board for playing ranked.
Mhm.
It sounded like we got the team on board for playing ranked.
I mean, I'm at the point where I just want to fucking do it because we're already playing ranked in norms. That's what it feels like. Like, no,
It
I'm
does
I'm
feel
not
like
fucking with. I'm serious. Like every game. What you were talking about sweats in Apex, dude. Like, oh my god, League is so sweaty right now, dude. Like, Jesus Christ, we get these people. Like, I've gotten to the point I'm comfortable enough now playing with you guys that I actually turned the fucking chat back on in League recently, last couple weeks. And
I
I've
have
started chatting
devolved.
and I've started getting involved in the chat a little bit more.
I have devolved into a toxic piece of shit. It is so bad.
I know. It's fucking hilarious though. Dude, because I'm just thinking of that game. Do you remember that game with the Aphelios?
Oh my god. Yeah, man.
So you want to talk about sweaty, right? So these fucking people played, what was it? It was an Aphelios bottom, and I forget what the support was, but I think there was like a Jin mid or some shit. It was weird, or
Yeah.
Kate or something. It was
Yeah.
fucking weird. There were like two ADCs in the game. And we were playing against this Aphelios, and it was me and was it me and you that game?
I don't
Bottom?
know.
I don't
I
remember.
can't I just remember the Filios being hella
Well,
mad.
yeah, the thing was, I was playing Varus, and me and whoever I was playing with, we fucking dominated, bro. Like bottom. It was bad. This Aphelios was fucking mad. I think you were jungle. That's right. I think you were playing Warwick, dude. Because you kept ganking bot. You kept ganking bot. Like you ganked him like 3 times. And this guy was fucking pissed, dude. Their team surrendered at like 15 or 20 minutes. And bro, this Aphelios would not shut up in the chat, and League chat is just funny as fuck, man. He was so mad. Oh, that's right. It was me and Elias. Yeah, you were playing Warwick. Because Elias was playing Annie. You remember? He was talking
Oh
shit
yeah, he
about
was talking shit
Annie.
about Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. He was so mad about Annie. Oh my god, man. So yeah, he was like saying, "Oh, it's easy to fucking win when you're playing broken champions or some shit." And I'm just like, "Bro, you're playing Aphelios when he's like literally as far away from the meta as possible, man." Like this was clearly an Aphelios main that was like in his feelings about the fact that he was an Aphelios main. So you know, we've been there before. I get it. I kind of felt bad for the
No,
dude,
I
but at
get
the
it.
same time,
Yeah.
I was just talking shit, man. I was like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck,
No, I mean
like,
we
like
don't
play another
type in the
character, dude.
chat.
You know?
Yeah, we don't type in the chat and like blame them. We just blame the meta for what the fuck it is,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, when we get pissed, like we get pissed, but we
yeah,
don't type it in the chat. I don't say shit until the other team just starts saying shit.
yeah.
So
Well, I did it, dude. I was playing top, or the games I was playing not top. That one night I played top. There was that one game against what was it, the Jacks, where dude, I was just calling him ass. I was like, jacks your ass, bro. That was funny as shit because he was the only one on the team that was like doing anything. You guys were like dominating, but I didn't lose that badly to him. Top like it was like a little bit lopsided in his direction, but
Yeah, it was. I
he
remember
thought
the
he was like the
end.
best fucking player in League of Legends. So I was like, "Fuck you, man! You're fucking ass, dude."
Yeah, no, it was League's funny. I mean, it's just like the balance is the issue. I think they just need to delete Heartstale. Like I know a lot of high elo players don't think it's an issue, but it's a fucking terror. It because we play low elo league.
Yeah,
Like we're 30, y'all. Like we're plus 30 now. So we're not
yeah,
about to be fucking sweaty and then try to do finals, y'all. Like we play like 2 hours and then we go to our wives or
yeah,
whatever. So
yeah, yeah.
I
Right.
mean hard still is just not fun for any elo. In my opinion, it's not fun for norms because like that one game we had a Mundo, like yeah, like you were
Oh
trying
my
out top for the
god,
first
dude!
time,
In like a
again
month,
in a month, and we
dude.
had him.
Yeah,
He went to get some Mundo, and the Mundo absolutely like shitted on all of us, and it's because he had heart steal. He had like 10,000 health by the end of the game or some crazy number like that, and I just couldn't figure out how to get past that. And it's like the game's on a timer now. Like if you go past like 30 minutes in the game now, like if you don't have a tank that can like scale, like you're gonna lose the game.
yeah.
I
I
just
don't.
don't know
I
if I like that.
Yeah, I was. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna echo your point here because I think this is what I don't like about League. And again, I'm always comparing this shit to Dota, but Dota's my experience with MOBAs for the most part.
Yeah,
So like I think my problem with League is snowballing. It's a huge issue in League, and it happens in Dota too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like snowballing doesn't happen, but this is my thing. That Mundo got to such a point that there was nothing anybody could do. We could have played that game 15 more minutes. They could have literally just not done anything and let us farm, and we probably still would have lost.
yeah,
You know,
and that's the problem right there.
because
Like
he
if we
was
catch
that
up in items and experience,
dude. He was
that
that
item
far
just
ahead.
kept feeding them. Like it was
Absolutely.
insane.
And it's like an infinitely scaling item. So
Yeah,
dude, he literally had 10k health at one point in the game. Like it was ridiculous. That is insane in League of Legends, that amount of health. So there's no answer. And I know everybody's always like, oh, just build a HP shred items. It's like, dude, it doesn't work, bro. I had a Bork in the game. It was doing nothing to the fucking guy. Like it was, like, it's like the item doesn't even function, Like,
yeah. We had them borked. We had them grievous wounds items. We had like Jet had fucking
Leandries.
Morellos, and
Oh,
then
Morellos, yeah. Yeah.
Morellos with Leandries, and then you had a Bork item, and then I think you were playing Varus, weren't you?
No,
So I
that
think you
was
had
the Camille game. I was playing
okay,
Camille.
okay. I
Yeah.
don't know who I was playing. I had Bork on me, or not. I had Bork, and I had fucking
Was it Echo?
I don't know if I was playing Echo. Was I playing Echo? I
Maybe.
think I was bot lane that time.
Oh, you
I
were
think I was
bot
playing
lane.
Samir because I was
That's
killing
right.
the bot
You
lane with
were.
Samir.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I couldn't stop him because like Samir is not really a tank shredder like that.
Right.
So yeah, and then I remember one time, yeah, in that game, Morello's was applied to him. Uh, Grievous wound or other Grievous wounds items were applied to him. Ignite was applied to him, and then Jet had to ult him just to fucking kill him. And I think one time he still had that scenario happen again, and he couldn't even kill him. Like it
Right.
was just he was unkillable at
Well,
that
Jet
point.
was kiting him for like 2 minutes in our base,
Yeah,
so he couldn't fucking kill the guy. It was insanity, dude.
yeah,
So yeah, so my thing is there's no answer late in the game to something like that. Like you can't just buy a couple items and like figure like you can't like I feel like the counters don't work all the time, and this is particularly true with tanks because like I'd say the opposite is true in Dota. Like it's just like I feel like when a character gets really powerful, they're still killable, like you
yeah,
can still CC them and then fucking focus fire them and kill their ass. Like Mundo was an unkillable motherfucker because he has a spell shield regen like built into his fucking kit. Then he has heart steal. He's got 10k hit points. Like the game is out of control with some of this stuff. It's like it's just I don't understand why they think some of these things are fucking balanced. Like And I know I've talked about Dota before, where the balance philosophy in Dota is that nothing is balanced. But you know what? It fucking works in that game. It doesn't work in League. Like, I'm sorry, it just whatever method they use where shit's unbalanced just does not fucking work in this game, man. Like, it's so
Yeah, yeah,
frustrating. There's certain characters that literally are always good. It doesn't matter what meta we're in,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. I try sometimes I try to push back on shit like that because I don't want to be like, oh, like I know people are like, oh, you guys are just bad and you're low elo and stuff like that. And it's just like I know we're playing, but we're playing norms. It's not like we're playing ranked. Like in
Mhm.
ranked, I feel like the game will move a lot faster because we all are trying to end the game. Like I don't
Yeah.
see this shit in ranked. I
Yeah.
may see it in like lower
Yeah.
elos of rank, like when I was like trying to climb and I got pushed all the way back to bronze, and I climbed my way out of bronze, and I
Mhm.
climbed my way out of silver. But bronze, it was an issue. Like the heart still wasn't a legitimate issue. But like once you get a little bit silver and up, people are actually trying to finish the game.
Yeah, so you're
Uh,
not fighting as much too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
Which
not
is
an
what
issue in
makes
high
Heart still
elo.
so crazy in low elo.
Exactly, and it kind of punishes you for trading with the champion, even though that's what you're
Absolutely.
supposed to do. So I don't know how to beat it. Another thing is like I just don't like how games are balanced for the higher elos. Um Apex is like this. Um League is like this. I don't know about Dota, but like games are like positioning themselves for like all the way always competitive, which I feel like in my heart of hearts, if you're a competitive player, no matter what the meta is, you should be able to adjust and play. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
remember when like say like Super Smash Brothers, for instance, right? That game used to be fun, and I still is fun, but like it also has a competitive edge to it, right? Melee was built for party games, but
Yeah.
people took it and made it competitive, but it can still be it can still be, you know, played for party games or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just because the meta shift or the competitive players adapted to what was there or whatever, and they banned certain things like okay, if you're playing competitive, don't do this, don't do that, you can't
Mhm.
pick this character or whatever, whatever.
Right.
Um, and I feel like League in particular is just so balanced towards, and I understand it has a a huge following in esports and everything like that. But it's like, where's the fun? Like, I don't know. I don't want to be playing fucking if I'm playing tennis with you or something like that, right? I don't want to be
Mhm.
playing fucking Wimbledon rules. Like, oh, I'm fucking playing against Serena Williams, motherfucker. Like, I'm playing against you.
Yeah.
We're just playing fucking tennis, bro.
Mhm.
Like, I don't really fucking care about like or if I'm playing basketball with somebody, like I'm not gonna be playing NBA rules all the fucking time. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
so sweaty. Like I don't get it, and I don't understand why a lot of other people don't understand that same sentiment because that same sentiment has actually been on Twitter, and then people would say like on Twitter or just in online forums in general, and people are like, oh, you just bad at the game, you just bad at the game, and it's like, no, bro, I just want to play the game. When I come home, I just want to maybe get a couple wins or a couple close games. If I lose or whatever, it was still close, and then I go about my business.
Yeah. This is the thing I have an issue with people in general, cuz yeah, you're totally right. There's like this weird like hive mind about certain things. And yeah, gaming is one of them, like competitive gaming, where people just don't understand the concept of wanting to play a game casually necessarily. Like, I think the thing is, I'm a pretty competitive player in anything I do, right? Like, I
Yeah,
want to win. I'm there to win. You know, like I want, like if I'm going to play a game where there's a winner, I'm gonna try to win, you know. But I think with League, like I want to win the game, but I also don't want to have to like fucking twist myself into a pretzel to do it, you know? Like I just want to like I want to lane for a little bit, and then when the game morphs into the mid game, you know, we start fighting and taking objectives. Like I want to play the game like that, and I just feel like League doesn't let you do that most of the time. That's not really the meta of League, you know, as much. Um, and it's like it's just really frustrating because there's just certain items, characters, combinations of characters and items that are really fucking toxic. Like they just they take the fun out of the early phases of the game as well. You know, there was a match where we were playing like Rockon Zaya, and it was the
oh my
sweatiest
god, it
fucking
was the
thing,
sweatiest
dude,
fucking team ever, bro.
imaginable. I'm
Like,
like, yeah, they're like practicing for their scrimmage or some shit. I don't fucking know, or like a tournament. That's what it felt like, you know. And they're doing it in norms, and it's like, God damn, bro.
Well,
Um,
it feels like that's what we're always playing against. Like it feels
yeah,
like even in norms on like, I mean, it's a meme at this point for Apex. Like, fucking norms is the true fucking Apex player lobby now because
yeah,
I mean, ranked is kind of balanced in its matchmaking, but like norms is just completely shit. And then even in like League of Legends, like I feel like there's so many Smurfs that like because we went against the legitimate Smurf one time. Like I looked at his account and he was like a legitimate Smurf. He had all ARAM stuff, and then I didn't even know that boosting was a thing in ARAM. Like you can just boost your way through ARAM and then start playing rank matches. Um, so yeah, he was like a legitimate Smurf, and then he played us, and he went like 20 and something against us, and I was like, "Dog, this guy can't be a fucking regular person." And I looked at his profile; he wasn't, and it's just like I don't know, like I understand these free to play games are free to play and everything, but I don't know. I just don't remember having this issue in like Halo 3 and Halo 2 and even old
yeah.
Call of Duty games. Like there was like a matchmaking that made sense. Like sometimes you'll get games where you go 20 and 4, and then sometimes you'll get games where the enemy one person on the enemy team go 20 and 4. But it
Right.
never was like a consistent thing. Uh I don't know. I just feel like with like especially I keep pointing like to Halo, Halo 3, Halo Reach. Uh those games were fun. Like you can just play with like 8 or 4 other people that you want to play with, get into the Xbox party, and then y'all just go in the lobby and just like play team deathmatch or whatever. And then there was a ranked mode for that where the sweats were at, and they would play it that way or
Mm,
whatever. But the thing is, the game, especially particularly Bungie, never tailored the game for esports. It was like Bungie was like, we're fun first, and if y'all want to make an esport out of the game that we have that's fun to us, then by all means do that. And we'll actually facilitate a mode for that. But as of right now, and our design philosophy is fun first, all that other shit later. And I think it's the opposite now. Even for fighting games, it's the opposite.
mhm,
I think fighting games that's always been a weird like balance for fun and then competitive fighting because like competitive fighting has been there since like the arcade days. So I think that's kind of built into the DNA of the FGC community.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I really can't speak too much on that. But like first person shooters and even like MOBAs and stuff like that, it was always like fun first. Oh, let me do this wacky build or whatever, or let me, me and my friends just jump in and play 4v4 Slayer, whatever, or all hammers or all graph hammers or all this other shit like that. But like even if you play in those modes, like you go in Halo Infinite and you play like Team Zombies, like people are sweaty in Team Zombies, or in not Team Zombies, but just zombies. And you're like, why are y'all sweaty in zombies? Like, and then they're posting their little clips on TikTok, like, oh, look at me get all these fucking headshots on zombies. And it's like, bro, it's zombies. Like, we're playing for fun, obviously. Like, I don't know. It's just everything just sweaty now. And I just like everybody's doing it for
yeah.
clicks or content. And it's just
Which,
like it's annoying now. It's like I don't even record my footage anymore because it's just like I don't even fucking care at this moment. I don't care.
yeah.
I just want to play the fucking
I just want to
game.
play a game, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's dude. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Yeah, right. Twitch. I think a lot of this stems from Twitch streamers and yeah, TikTok and all these like, dude. It's just you're trying to get content or make content or you want to be fucking Shroud or some shit, you know.
yeah,
And it's just like, man, like how fucked up is the world that we all hate our lives so much that we all have to chase this fucking like that dream, you know, that like, you know, Twitch streamer, YouTuber dream or TikToker or whatever. It's just like, man, I don't know. It just feels like something's fucking wrong. Cause bro, like legitimately when I get home from work at night and I log into League or Apex, man, I just want to have a casual night, have some fun with the boys, maybe win a game or two. Like I'm not trying to fucking win every fucking game, you know? Like, you know, but I don't know. It's just not possible. Like the games themselves don't let you do it. Like the players that play them, there every community feels like it's like this now, you know? Um
yeah,
and it's well, dude, you know, honestly, here's an example too. Like I'm thinking about this is because I, you know, I'm playing Honkai Star Rail, right? But
yeah,
this is a thing in gotcha communities, right? Is because I mean I played a bunch of gotcha games at this point, and gotcha players are sweaty as fuck, and these games have no multiplayer in them most of the time. You know, like Honkai Star Rail is a complete single player game. Like there's a little bit of interaction with other players where you can use their characters for certain types of things, but otherwise you don't interact with other players at all. Like you don't even see them. You don't do anything with them. And there's just this, like, dude, these games always devolve into this now where there's like fucking tier lists and which characters are meta and what's the fucking best equipment build, bro, for you to get max damage and one shot this insanely hard boss. And it's like, dude, like, Jesus Christ, just play the game. It's like, what are you even competing against? I don't understand, like, why we do this with every fucking thing,
Yeah, I
And
don't.
dude, all gotcha games are like this. Like, go look at the Genshin Impact subreddit, bro. The fucking debates between what characters are good and which ones are meta and which ones aren't meta, and which ones could fucking do Spiral Abyss in 10 seconds. It's like, dude, like, you don't need to do Spiral Abyss in 10 seconds. It's a completely unnecessary thing to do in that game. Like, you are fucking literally, the only way you're going to do that, by the way, is by spending thousands of dollars getting a fucking max constellations and shit. Like why do we trick ourselves into thinking like that we got to be like the best at everything we do? It's like, I don't understand that. Just play the fucking game, dude. It's like
Yeah,
Honkai. I haven't looked at any power vids or tier list videos because that shit is ruins these games for me at this point. Like, I don't want anything to do with that shit. Like, I just want to play the game. I want to get the characters I like, and I want to play with the characters I like. That's it. I don't want this game
yeah,
tainted. Like,
yeah, and I think that's why single player games are making a huge comeback. But
yeah.
like, I feel like even the single player games, like you said, are being sweaty. And what I mean by that is, I feel like the developers are making them intentionally sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
Like inflated fucking budgets and everything like that. There was just an article that came out last week. It wasn't a huge article, that's why I didn't put it in there. But like pretty much CD Projekt Red said like, the BioWare style of RPGs is dead. And it's just like, I guess because of the budgets and everything of that nature. Um it's just weird. And then like after I saw that article, another article popped up where like some kind of rumor report or whatever saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is reported to be $1 to $2 billion as far as development costs. And it's
No.
like,
Oh my god.
that's the sweat. Like, as far as development, in my
Yeah.
opinion, if I was a developer, I would like, that's sweaty as fuck. Like, why are y'all putting 1 to $2 billion in a fucking video game? Like, are you
Yeah.
fucking serious? Like, that's
Yeah.
insane to me. And it's like, I don't feel like gamers are asking for that. Maybe we are. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like everything's just like super fucking sweaty or super
I
fucking
think I think we
serious.
just exist in a different space, man. At this point, like we're
That, that's
we're
that's
we're
that's
not
insane.
we're not like, this is weird to say. We're not like necessarily the mainstream gaming community. Like, I think our views on things are like niche, you know? I think that's just the reality we live in, dude, at this point. Cuz because it's everything. Like, I feel like it's every game, and I just don't see the sentiment that much, or maybe people are just not expressing it.
I think there's a silent majority.
Yeah, that's
A
true.
si-
Yeah, right.
I think when we're online, those are the vocal minority. Is like, yo, this is what I want. Because I don't know if you. I mean, you because you haven't really been on Twitter, but like last week or 2 weeks ago, there's been this popular like uh kind of like indie game popping up, and it's like a Call of Duty ripoff type game or whatever. And
Yeah.
like, people are being fucking sweaty as fuck and like doing all these little Twitch moves and everything
Oh, I
like
think I
that. And
saw that actually. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh, this is a movement-based shooter, and I can
Yes,
slide
yes,
cancel and
yes.
everything." And it's
Yeah.
like, and in my, yeah,
Oh my god.
and in my mind, right, I'm like, movement based shooters. So you want Halo or Quake, or you want Titanfall? That's movement. And then I've literally seen people would say what I'm saying, right? And then other people would come under them like, no, that's not movement. We're not talking about movement like that. We're talking about slide canceling, weapon canceling, and all this other stuff like that. And it's like, bro, what are y'all talking about? Like, that's not movement. That looks like someone's on Adderall playing the game and they just can't
Yeah.
stop fucking clicking buttons. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just like, it just looks super fucking sweaty. And I'm just like, I don't. and then
It's
they
like
put like
watching
some
a
cool.
StarCraft 2 fucking pro play StarCraft.
Yeah, man. And it's like that's why, in my opinion, that's why StarCraft, like the community kind of died for that, because that game was super fucking
That
sweaty.
game was so sweaty. That game was designed sweaty, and
Yes.
nobody wanted to play it. It was too sweaty.
It was
No,
too sweaty.
that game is the perfect example of a game that was actually too sweaty because it was legitimately like if you wanted to play competitive or even just play a game against somebody else in order to win, you had to be so sweaty, dude.
Your
You
macro had to be
the
insane.
macro, the fucking clicks per minute, APM, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like, bro, you got to be like on top of that shit. You like we talk about focus when we're playing League, like you needed to be engaged, like merged into your computer to play StarCraft 2, you know? Like that shit was
You had to remember
nuts.
every hotkey or customize your
Every
hotkey for
hotkey.
every unit
Yep.
that you had. It was,
You needed to group your buildings, like group your fucking units, like it was psychotic.
and I watch people play StarCraft like competitively, casually, but competitively, if that makes any sense. Like they'll go up the rank
Mhm.
ladder while streaming.
Mhm.
And yeah, like even that just looks sweaty. I was just like, I can't play this game again. Like I would watch it because StarCraft was popping up on my newsfeed for a while, and then I
Yeah.
would watch it and I'll just be like, I can't do this, man. Like I would love to play StarCraft, but it's like I don't want to be super fucking sweaty at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
and play it. So I don't know. It's just I think games need to go back to being fun and like but that's the whole other issue, right? Because then we'll have the whole issue that we had back in like 2008 or 2009, whereas like games were just too casual. They were like, press one button and you win the fucking game type shit.
Yeah.
And we are like,
Yeah.
bro, where's the competitive edge in the game? So it
Yeah.
seems like the pendulum is always swinging one extreme to the other. And it's just like, why can't we just find a medium? Some of those games out here have mediums, but like, why can't we just find a medium in the game or whatever? Like,
Mhm.
say, like if you post your Dark Souls build or whatever, right? You post a screenshot you beating a boss, or you post a little video clip of you beating a boss or whatever. You're like, oh
Mhm.
man, I finally beat the boss. Cool. And somebody be like, oh, yo, your build's not meta, bro. What the fuck? If you had to put this much in your magic, you could easily one shot him. You're like, I'm going for a strength build. Strength builds don't even matter, bro. What are you talking about? Like, why would you do a strength build? Ugh, go for a
Mhm.
dex build
Yeah.
because I wanted the strength build and I wanted to, use a great sword. That's why I wanted the strength build. I wanted to fly guts or somebody like that. He's like, no, bro, you're gonna have a rough time in the game. And it's like, all right, shut the fuck up and let me have a rough time in my fucking Dark Souls game. Dark Souls. This is not a competitive. I'm not PvPing
It's a
people. I
rough
don't
game
fucking
by default. Like let it just be what it is, okay?
Yeah, and
Easy.
this is what I'm scared of for Armored Core, because
Oh
I mean
yeah.
Armored Core has always been sweaty, but it's been like a niche sweaty. Like the community is like closed, but like now that it's open to a broader community, I'm super excited, but I'm also like super fucking terrified because I know what's about to come with that. It's about to be the meta builds and all this other shit like that, and Twitch streamers, and I'm like, bro, I don't fucking care about that shit. Like, I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, man, it's I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Just uh, I I don't know, I just even like hyper casual games that I feel like it happens to, Um
Yeah, I just
but
feel like I don't know. Maybe that should be a question for our viewers. Like, I ask y'all if y'all listen or viewers, listeners rather. Like, is it just us or like maybe we're just old as fuck? Like, I am old, but it's just like even there are old gamers who are like playing competitively back in the day. Like, they can hang in Halo 2 and 3 and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
it just seems like now, do y'all feel like games are just too sweaty, or that maybe the gamers themselves are just too sweaty? Is everyone too content hungry? Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird, man. Kind of takes the fun out of a lot of games, man. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I'm thinking you're making me think about, you know, 30, 20 years ago, 20,
Hmm.
25 years ago. We come from a generation that grew up on couch co-op, you know, and
Mm.
that's the epitome of anti-sweat, like you're just hanging out with your boys, your friends or whatever, and fucking having a good time playing whatever the fuck, Smash Brothers, Mario Party, Star Fox, whatever, Mario
Yeah,
Kart. And
yeah. This Mario Kart sweaty as fuck.
now it is, yeah, dude. No, I know, for real. You know, like I honestly like look, I'm thinking about myself. I was probably the sweaty guy in my group, you know, friends. I was the dude who like no one could ever beat at Smash Brothers, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would play with my friends all the time. We'd play Smash Brothers like every fucking day, basically, after school or in the summer or whatever. And dude, I would win every match that we played, basically, like 90 to 95% of them. But you know, but it was like it became like a fun thing where like you know there would be like situations where there would be somebody would be 1v1ing me and everybody's like, oh fucking get him, man, you know, and like so they would get a kill on me or something and everybody's like, oh shit, oh Justin's gonna lose, you know. And then I'd be like down like one life to two lives, like one stock, two stock or something,
Yeah.
like actually in a bad situation, and I'd fucking like pull it out and win, kill them twice and win or some shit, and it would be like, oh fuck, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like it was still fun even with the competitive aspect sometimes, you know. It's like it's just like I don't feel that anymore, and I think the younger generation of gamers, like they don't have that experience, like they didn't probably most of them didn't play couch co-op, you know. They
Yeah.
didn't grow up on couch co-op, so they don't know what that feels like. So all they really know is playing against just randos, you know, or like even if you're playing with your friends, you're still playing against randos, you know,
Yeah.
more than likely in most games. So it's like there's just a disconnect there where you're not like you don't really think about what the other side is. They're almost like a bot in your brain, you know. It's like you don't need to care what they think or what they're doing if they're having any fun. It's not important. Like in the context of that gameplay online. So I don't know. I think that is probably a contributing factor too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I I mean, I don't know, man. That's a good point. Like couch co-op was like a heavy part of my childhood. Like even everybody played. Like my family played video games and everything. And it wasn't sweaty. It was just like,
Yeah.
some people were better at video games than other people and everything, but we still managed to have fun with it. Like even when and I think that's why I appreciate games like Mario Party, like that random factor. Because when I'm playing with Deanna, we playing Mario Party, like we're having the time of our lives.
Hmm.
And like even when I'm trying to be sweaty, because I'm like I don't want to fucking lose or whatever, but I just be
Yeah.
joking or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just random as fun, and I don't know. I think that's like fucking cool.
Hmm.
Um, and League of Legends is a really good example. It's become so sweaty that the only alternate mode to play is ARAM, and ARAM is sweaty. And it's
Yeah.
like I remember they used to have like the Star Galaxy mode and everything like that, where you and four other friends would like fight the NPCs and go through this whole story mode of
Mm,
Star Galaxy, and they had like different stuff like that. They had different like random like LTMs. They had different LTMs that will pop up in League or whatever, and
yeah.
they don't do that anymore. It's just sweatiness all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't even know how that's fun. And maybe people are not playing it, and maybe because kids don't understand that type of fun. Like I remember playing 007 and playing big head mode. Obviously, your head's a bigger target, so that's not the optimal way to play. But it's
Right.
fucking fun as fuck playing big head mode in 007, one shot kills or some shit like that. Just I don't know. Like in Halo, just playing rockets only or fucking, hammers only or something like that. Griff
Yeah.
ball or some bullshit. Like even even if you were playing with the randos in Griff ball, like on Halo 3 and Halo Reach and stuff like that,
Hmm.
everybody knew it was just fun. Like it's just random fun. We're just all here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, this is kind of why I wanted you guys to get into Dota a little bit because Dota has that goofy casual side
Hmm.
built into the game. Because not only does the game have multiple modes, unlike League, like League really only has ARAM, and then I guess I don't really count TFT. But like Dota has, you know, your normal draft pick, then it has all pick, which everybody just picks whoever they want at the same time. Then there's all random, where everybody gets a random character. There
Hmm.
is ability draft, where everybody gets a random character, and then those characters' abilities are put into a draft pool, and you draft the abilities like in like a fantasy football draft style. You draft the abilities onto other characters that don't normally have those abilities, and hilarity ensues because animations don't work with certain things. It's fucking funny as fuck. I love that fucking mode. So if you want casual shit, like Dota has it built into the game, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so if we're like playing fucking ranked and we're like trying to be hardcore and sweaty and we just get tired of it. We can just go play ability draft and it's goofy, fucking stupid, and no one's taking it seriously, you know? It's like the mode literally is you cannot take it seriously. The mode is stupid as fuck, you know? Um, so and then but the game also has literally customs, you know, like old StarCraft or Warcraft style. They put that in the game a long time ago. So that's a thing too in Dota. Like League doesn't have that either, you know.
Yeah,
So that's where there's just I think League needs maybe TFT was their attempt to do that to kind of give the game something a little bit more of a break from the normal gameplay, but
I mean, it worked for a
unfortunately
while,
it
but
doesn't work
yeah,
though with a group. Like we can't do
yeah.
that with the group of 5 that we have, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
And like, I don't know, I was just thinking like you said like the random modes and stuff like that. And I was thinking like Apex did add the LTM modes from a break from the norm and like, you got,
Yeah.
team deathmatch and control. But
Yep.
then I went on Reddit, right? And then someone posted a whole ass like thesis paper on how to uh you know build fucking Watson traps in like, one of the control points and take over. And I'm like, he had a whole strategy for it. It was called like the Watson strategy, strategy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, stop being sweaty. This mode
Yeah.
is not meant to be sweaty.
Right.
This mode is just like a regular ass mode.
Right.
I
It
don't know.
doesn't even
It's
have a rank system or anything, you know?
yeah.
Like why are you being sweaty and control, you know? Well, yeah, that I think that's the other thing. I don't know. Like cuz yeah, Dota has multiple modes like I said. This is I think it makes the game more approachable because this is another thing League's missing for me is I think this is why I struggle to get back into it so much is because relearning the game is hard. You have to just brute force your way through it and like just deal with the fact that you're gonna ruin like fucking 15 games when you first start playing it, you know,
Yeah.
because you don't know any characters, you don't know items, you suck, you know. But Dota has these other modes that they have like I said all random, which means everybody gets a random character. So that is total chaos. Nobody's taking that seriously, you know. So you can learn that's a good mode to learn characters in. But then there's another one actually it's a little more forgiving than that called single draft where everybody gets 3 characters, one of each of the primary attributes, and you get to pick one of the 3, basically.
Mhm.
So it's not totally, you know, you're just fucked if you get like a character you suck with or don't know. So it's like it's a nice way to learn characters, you know. And then
Yeah.
there's all pick, which is more casual pub game, you know, where everybody picks at the same time, like I said, but you have access to the entire roster
Yeah.
in that one. So, you know, I think League needs some stuff like that too, because ARAM's not a good way to learn the game, frankly.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not. And you know what? They talked about it in their last like patch, not patch rundown, but like state of the game, mid state of the
mhm.
game patch or whatever. Um that they want to improve the bots or whatever, and they want to totally rehaul the bot system and
Oh
everything. And
yeah,
it's
they're
like,
terrible. They're awful right now.
yeah,
They don't even play the game the way the game is played today. Like the
exactly. It's like 13 years later. Now you
That's
guys want to do
crazy.
that? Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
weird that I was shocked that dude when I came back into it and I started doing bot matches and I'm like this is unbelievable that they have the bots in this state, dude. Like
yeah, because
because
that's
like they
because
don't even
nobody.
jungle. They literally don't jungle. There's no jungler in bot matches. Like
Well, what's really weird. They don't even have like. I think they do have some kind of like encyclopedia for the items. It's
yeah,
weird to find it though, but
yeah,
like Um, and I think if you hover over the characters, you can get their abilities or whatever. But I remember when League used to do champion spotlights on YouTube or whatever the case, and then they'll show the champion spotlight when you come up to the front page, like a new champion will get released or whatever, and they'll show their
yeah,
abilities, break them
yeah,
down. And they stopped. They actually, I think they just started doing that again. They
yeah.
actually stopped doing that for like 4 seasons. There
Wow.
because they were like, oh, well, the community can pick it up and do it. Like they can it was one of those things where they depended too much on the community to teach other people how to play your game. Like this is
Yeah,
your game. Like
yeah,
and I understand you have a thriving community, but like you need to teach people. And I feel like in all seriousness, Apex needs to do the same thing.
yeah,
People need to learn. If you have in your trailers now, people have wall jumping. They have wall jumping in the trailers now. I can't. I can do a little bit of a wall jump, but I can't execute to the point of like fucking his Watson or some shit like that, or
right,
fucking
right.
I forgot the other guy's name, but but teach people in the trailers or in your tutorials, hey, here's some more advanced moves like wall jumping or slide crouching or
Yeah.
crouch slide jumping to make yourself run faster and everything like that. And it's
Mhm.
like there's nothing in the game to teach people that. You just have to learn that by going on YouTube. And I just feel like YouTube, it's not YouTube's fault for this, but developers and everybody else just depend on YouTube just to teach them everything. And I understand like that's the go-to thing now, but why can't I not learn that shit in your fucking games?
Yeah.
I think
Right.
one video game that I absolutely fucking love that had like the best fucking tutorial system, in my opinion, and they designed it for people who are not a fighting game people, but they wanted to get into fighting games really good. Was
Mhm.
Killer Instinct, the remake of Killer
Yeah.
Instinct on
On
Xbox.
Xbox. Yep.
Yeah, it had the most intuitive fucking training system I've ever fucking seen. To the point where you can, by time like they had like a system for you, and by the time you get done with the system, you can go into a ranked game and know what frame data is and know everything because they just break it down for you in their tutorials
Yep.
how to do these things and what they are and what they mean. And when you hear this type of thing, what it is and everything like that. And I just thought that was just so fucking cool. And then other games, like other fighting games, started implementing that. But
Mhm.
I think Street Fighter 6 is almost to the level from what I've seen of Killer Instinct. But I haven't seen any other fighting game get that in depth with their training
Yeah.
since Killer Instinct. And that shit to me was like groundbreaking in my opinion. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think these games are they do rely on their communities, and I think unfortunately they've relied on them so much that the communities are starting to shape the way these games are and the
Yes.
way they feel to play. And um I don't think it's working. It's creating this environment that we're talking about where everything's sweaty, hyper competitive, etc. And yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
just
feel like the only game that's not sweaty is Fortnite. And I mean, that's sweaty, but you have to get to a level to be good to be where you start getting people that sweaty. You know what I'm saying?
mhm, yeah.
But that's why I think little kids love Fortnite because they can just literally just jump in and just play the fucking game and then oh I die and then jump back in. And it's like all sorts of goofy shit in Fortnite. Like I can use the force now. I can fucking get Spider-Man
Yeah.
Slinger and
Yeah.
fucking Detroit smash somebody with Deku's move or something like that. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy shit in that
Yeah.
game. It's like it's not meant to be taken seriously.
And shit,
And
maybe that's the game we should be playing. I don't know. I had fun with
I
Fortnite
bro,
when we were playing it.
I only problem is we won't have a fourth because Brad hates Fortnite. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to touch it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I know, but we
but
don't need that. Like the game has trios. Like you don't,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, and I mean, Jet said he's down for Fortnite. I'm down for Fortnite.
We'll
Like
just
that
get
shit.
Xander to play with us, man. Just get his fucking his kid would play. Like
He'll
there you
probably
go.
fucking he probably carry us to be
Yeah, he'll
honest with you.
carry us, man. We'll be fine. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm down to play. I still have it installed, so I'm
Yeah, I
not.
still have it. I have it. It gets the updates all the time. It's still
I think
installed
it's
a lot.
just we're all very like habitual people. Like
Yeah.
we just get online and like, all right, we play an Apex or League. You know, we don't even like talk about Fortnite. So we just need to consciously bring that up. I think. So
Yeah, 'cause, I don't know. Because the first night we were playing, we were having so much fun. We were laughing at the stupid dances and shit. Like we
yeah,
weren't even trying
me
to play
running
the
a
game.
default skin. You know, it was yeah, it's fun shit, man.
It was fun as fuck. So
Yeah.
I don't
So
know. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up in the chat probably tonight. Like, hey, I just want to hop on. I mean, the new season came out, so I want to try
yeah,
that.
maybe give it a few days. Let's play
Yeah,
some Apex. Get used to the new season. If the new season in Apex is good, then I'm happy to stay there. But you know, but when we get tired of it, we should just like try to go back to Fortnite or something else. You know,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So League, obviously Apex, blah blah blah. I've been playing Honkai some more. Definitely not as much as the prior 2 weeks. I've just been pretty busy this last week as well. But you know, I'm still enjoying the game. I think I'm really close to the end of the current story stuff. I think I maybe have like 2 or 3 more story missions to go. So I mean maybe a couple hours at most. So I'm actually just trying to get through that. And then I need to start knocking out side quests and some of the side content. Because I do want to I kind of want to get to the point with this game like I was trying to get with Genshin where I'm just kind of caught up and, I can just log in and play for 20, 30 minutes and then, go do something else. Kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get to with this game. It's definitely slowed down a lot too. I'm in the like because the way they've done the leveling in this game, they did it the same way Genshin has it, where you have a kind of an account level. It's called Trailblaze level in this game. I think it was like adventure rank in Genshin, and your progression in the game is tied to this Trailblaze rank. And I don't like the way they do this in these games. I didn't like this in Genshin either because the whole game gets locked at a certain point when you're like, because right now I'm level 36. I'm Trailblaze level 36, right?
Yeah.
Um, and let me just start from like level one, right? So your Trailblaze level is one, and until you get to 20, the game, you can level your characters to level 20, and then, or I think it might have been 30. Yeah, I think it was 30. You can level your characters to level 30 as a max, and then you can do certain content. And then when you hit Trailblaze level 20, you get a mission that it's called an equilibrium mission, and it levels up something. There's like an equilibrium level that you have that's tied to your Trailblaze level. And it goes up at certain level interviews. So equilibrium 1 unlocks at level 20, 2 is 30, 3 is 40, 4 is 50, etc. And every one of these unlocks either more content you can do, like types of content, like certain types of things you can farm, with your Trailblaze power, which is the resource that is like a mobile game type resource that regenerates every so many minutes. And you also unlock story though using your Trailblaze level as well. So you'll get locked behind your Trailblaze level if you go through the story too fast, which has happened to me a couple times where I was focusing story and I got, let's say, I think it happened when I was level 20 actually. I was Trailblaze 20 and I finished a story mission and then it said it's locked and the next one was locked until I hit level 22. So basically, I have to stop doing the story, go do other activities that give me Trailblaze like experience and then go back to the story once that happened. It only happened once or twice to me. The second time was actually a little bit worse. I basically for 2 days wasn't doing any story because I needed to do my dailies and shit in order to get enough Trailblaze experience to level up, and that shit doesn't feel great. I don't think that is a well designed feature in the game. I didn't like it in Genshin either. Because it's just kind of an arbitrary gate in my opinion. It doesn't like I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know why they put that on the like story, especially. But it's just also an annoying feature now because once I'm done with the story, the game just becomes grinding for the most part. Because from the 30 to 40 has been the longest gap, and it's starting to take me a while to start gaining these Trailblaze levels. I'm only gaining like one, maybe two a day now. Whereas obviously earlier it was going much faster and until you hit 40 the rewards you get from the daily stuff you can do with your Trailblaze power sucks, man. Like you are like getting suboptimal stuff and it just doesn't feel great. Like I don't feel like there's a way to be efficient with that right now, and I really just want to get to 40 and unlock like the max level stuff. And it's not even the max level, it's like the beginning of max level because there's 7 equilibrium levels, I think, and I am on 2 right now. So I have 4 more to go, and I'm like, God damn, man. Like, because the rewards you get in each equilibrium level go up. So until you get to the max one, you're not getting like maximum efficiency for the things you're doing. So it doesn't feel great. And I feel like I wish they'd come up with a different system for this game because it's just a frustrating. It's like an annoying thing. Because I want to get to 40. 40 is like the first like peak into actually getting good shit finally. Um, but you're not going to get it very frequently. And obviously amount of experience you need to level is going to continue to go up. So 40 to 50 is going to take me even longer than 30 to 40, and it's going to be a bit of a slog at a certain point because you have to go all the way to 65 to max out your equilibrium, and man, that's going to take months probably from where we are right now. So it's a little bit of a frustrating feature, but otherwise the rest of the game I'm still enjoying it certainly. I think I appreciate the way this game is a little bit more than Genshin, in terms of the sense that it is not nearly as time consuming because the environments are small. There's not a lot to do in them, and you can completely avoid combat if you want, for the most part. And the combat doesn't take that long in out in the open world. The things that end up being time consuming are the simulated universe. That's probably the big thing that really is super time consuming in the game. And I haven't dabbled too deeply into that yet. I feel like I've hit a power cap right now that I can't really get over at the moment. So I'm kind of like waiting until I get the next level cap in order to dive back into the simulated universe like really hard. So um but yeah, I mean, at this point, there's not much more to say about this game right now. I'm just continuing to play it, so it's going to be mostly the same from here on out. It's just there's going to be more of an end game focus the further along I go, where you're kind of building your characters for their final kind of setup. Um, and then the game really just becomes about doing whatever content they come out with. There will be events soon that come out every patch that they do, and then there will be new characters obviously that you can pull for, and then it's really just budgeting your free pulls, saving up your currency until there's a character you want, and then pulling for that character. That's kind of the way the game. That's like the ebb and flow of the game with this. It's I mean it's essentially a live service game. So like any live service game, you're going to ebb and flow with the amount of content they release at any given time. So yeah, I mean, it's a good game. It's fun. If you like gotcha, it's not a bad one. I
Mhm.
don't think it's super predatory, like some of the other ones are. It's just gotcha in general is a very dangerous genre to play if you're not in control of yourself or don't have issues with gambling. So always have that caveat, um, but yeah, it's a high quality game. You know, Hoyoverse continues to impress with the quality of what they put out. I mean, you saw some of the animations and shit, man. Like it's really good. It's really high quality stuff. Like they do a really good job with that.
You know, it's
So
good shit.
yeah,
It has me considering playing the game, but I'm trying to watch out for the Wuthering Waves. I think that's called. I'm
yeah,
really waiting for that game to come on PC.
yep. That one looks really good. That one looks like it has like very legit combat but
Yeah.
it might also be a gotcha game. So I don't know. Yeah, that one may be the one for me. So we'll see. I'm keeping my eye on that one too. So, but yeah, otherwise that's it. I haven't really been playing anything else. I haven't had time to jump into much else. So, what about you? Have you had time for anything?
No, unfortunately, like we played the couple games that we played, and then I haven't really touched Jedi Fall or Survivor. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the game or anything. I just don't think I'm in a mood to play that game. I
Hmm.
actually, you know what? The game makes me want to play other games because of the time periods in. So I went to back and played Star Wars Battlefront, the newer Star Wars Battlefront 2. And man, like if that game is the game that it is today, if that had came out uh when it first launched, that probably would have been the best fucking Star Wars game. I've played that game for like hours. I was having genuine fun. Like that game is
Yeah.
so fun to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh so that's what I've been doing. Like I've been getting a whole bunch of Star Wars content on my stuff and everything like that. And yeah, I just been playing like other Star Wars games. I think I might go back and play Tour or something like that. Or I even been thinking about getting into Tour. Um, just playing that, not playing it like crazy, like trying to get the builds and do dungeon runs, but like just going through the rest of the stories I didn't go through for the classes,
Yeah.
because those are really good stories on there, and they had some like expansions and stuff like that for a lot of those stories as well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about doing that, but I mean that's just time. So I think I might just go back and finish Survivor because I heard the story is really good. I actually like Cal's development. Like I know I give him a lot of shit rather, but I actually do like the character. I think he's a really cool character, especially the person he becomes now. Um, I like him a lot. He was like the happy-go-lucky Padawan in the first game, but now he's like a veteran fucking, Jedi in this one,
Mm.
and not necessarily like a Jedi. He has like kind of gray tendencies to him.
He's
And
not
I
as
like that.
idealistic. He's a little bit more hardened.
Yeah, yeah. He's a little bit more battle hardened. He still holds on to certain ideals, like the idea of hope and everything like that. But it's not like cheesy. It's just like a realistic hope that he tries to do what we can do within the means that he has, and I like that for the character. I think it's really good growth. It's really good growth for the other characters that are there as well. I'm upset though that I mean, I don't think they're going to do a Trilla game. I really want Trilla to come back because that's like my favorite character
Mm.
out the whole series. She's
Yeah.
just she's a good character and she's hot, but she's also just like a really good character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the game's really good so far. Like I said, it's has more open world elements to it now. So you know how I am about open world games. Like I'm turned off by that a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, it's nothing egregious or anything like that. I can probably just breeze through the game and do what I want to do and everything. So I think I am going to do that. Um, I do like the blaster lightsaber combo. I'm not too I think, well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. The last weapon type that you get, I'm not really too into that weapon type. Um, so
Yeah.
that was a bummer when I unlocked that. But I think it's some more unlockables as far as like what you can do within the trees and stuff like that of the force powers and that you do
Mm.
have and everything. So
Yeah.
kind of looking forward to unlocking those. But yeah, it's nothing like too crazy. But I think it's a well designed game. It's pretty straightforward. I give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
7 or 8 out of 10. It's nothing like super crazy, but there's
Okay.
nothing like super wrong with it either.
Okay. Yeah,
So yeah.
I gotta get back to Telluride and Metroid. I gotta finish those because yeah, Honkai severely has derailed me the last like 2 or 3 weeks. So um yeah, I'm probably gonna try to do that a little bit this weekend and get back to them. But cool. I mean, we got a lot of shit coming out. I mean, we're about to talk about it. Zelda's coming out tomorrow, so there is
Yeah,
also that
it
game.
looks good, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I think
Well,
I have to beat the original Zelda first. Like I'm just gonna hurry up and beat it.
yeah.
I'm there already to the end. I
Hmm.
just need to beat it, and then
Yeah.
I'll probably get it.
Fair enough. Well, why don't we move into that conversation? Because there we don't have any news. There's really nothing happening this week. So we're gonna go into guess the Metascore, but this is gonna kind of probably be more of a discussion. Because the reviews for Zelda, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, have dropped today, and Montreal and I both guessed a 9.6, and that is the exact score that it has on Metacritic right
Oh, really?
now. So
Cool.
yeah, we were right on the money with that one. So yeah, 96 right now. And no surprise, it's getting tens all across the board. Multiple outlets, most outlets, in fact, are giving it a 10. So yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't played the game, so we can't speak to whether those scores are legit or not. Obviously, I mean, score's a score, anyways. It's somebody's opinion. So, but Montreal, are you? I mean, I'm gonna assume not. Are you surprised at all by these scores for this
No,
game?
not at all. Not at
Yeah,
all. I
I
kind of
think we were on the
expected
same
it.
page with this one. We were both expecting this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first one got raving reviews, and everybody was like really hyped up about this one. I knew it was gonna get good reviews as well. Um, I do think it's kind of unfair. Well, not unfair. I think it's stupid. Rather, I did see people comparing this games to Redfall and like, oh, well, this game can barely run 30 frames, but Redfall can barely run 30 frames as well. And people gave that a shit review. And it's like, I don't even really like Breath of the Wild like that, to be honest with you. But it's still a quality game to where like Redfall, even if it didn't have the bugs, from what I hear and what I've seen of the game, and I watched like a 3 hour stream of the game or whatever the case, it's just not fun. Like, so I think that's an unfair comparison
Yeah.
to give the game. Zelda, So I will say like I am tired of Switch in general. Like it's hard to play games on that shit. I haven't even finished
Hmm.
Bayonetta 3 because I just can't. The frame rate drop is insane. Like it's
Yeah.
time to retire this hardware. But as far as Zelda though, I really haven't heard any frame rate drops. I'm pretty sure it has it because the original Zelda Breath of the Wild had frame rate drops as well.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. This one looks more fun. It just looks like there's more things to do and more puzzles. and
Yeah.
everything, like, which is what I
It's
wanted
more
out in the
it's
world.
denser. It's denser,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And I think instead of doing the dungeon route like we said they should do, I think they put the dungeon out in the world, and there's just multiple puzzles everywhere, and to get certain places and stuff, which I think is way better than uh how Breath of the Wild is built. And I mean, it took them years to progress the thing, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, the game there's more density in the environments. There's more to do within the open world, which was a pretty big criticism of the original. And from what I understand, there are shrines in the game. There's more tools in your toolbox as well. So uh, I think that aspect in the denser open world, that might be enough to get me into this a
Yeah,
little bit more than Breath of the Wild, because that was my biggest issue with Breath of the Wild too. Is just there's a lot of open space where there's not a lot there, and that it's the only reason the Korok seeds existed in that game was to fill that space.
yeah,
I think it was a really obvious aspect of that game, and I think this one's sounds like it's going to be a little bit more deliberate. Like there's more things to do out in the open world, which is certainly a good thing.
yeah,
But I don't know. We don't. I haven't looked into reviews. I don't really want to know. I'm probably just going to try to discover this myself, whether there's dungeons or not in the game.
yeah.
Um,
Same.
but knowing that there's shrines kind of makes me wonder. I don't know. So we'll see on that front. But it certainly looks like a good game. I'm obviously. I think the issue with this style of Zelda, with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for me, and I know this is a big reason I think a lot of people are giving like feel like this is an incredible game, is just the freedom of the sandbox. Like it is like a physics sandbox, and I'm continuously weirded out by the fact that Zelda has become a game that is like a physics simulator. Like I
Yeah,
don't really understand how that happened and why that happened. And I don't like that doesn't make the like it's not a bad thing necessarily, but I don't really care for it either. It's not what I'm looking for when I play Zelda. And I feel like Nintendo's really leaning into that hard with this one, with the previews I saw and stuff, and all like the fucking vehicle building you can do and stuff. It's like it's kind of weird. Like I don't
it,
know. I
you
mean,
know what? I
yeah.
don't think it's weird. I think it's a product of the times.
Hmm.
So when I say that, it's like been a steady progression towards. I don't want to say building your own fun,
Hmm.
but you gotta think, right? When did Minecraft come out? Like 08, 09, or something like that.
It's like
So you got
2000. I'll look it up.
yeah. So probably like 2010 or something. 2012,
2011.
maybe 2011. All right. So
2011.
you got like Minecraft, and then you have other open world games that were coming out, and then you have the explosion of fucking Fortnite and stuff like that, which build mode and everything of
Well, it
that
was
nature.
2009 actually, the like beta version.
The beta ver okay, that's what I thought. I knew it came out a little earlier than that. But yeah, so you got Minecraft, you got all these other games, like all these other survival games like Rust and everything like that, Ark, and then you get a fast forward a little bit further, then you have fucking Fortnite and everything of that nature. I think Breath of the Wild, the first one, came in at the right time, because that's where the market was heading. So they
Yeah.
just built something physics based, right? Which was you had your little tool, your little time stop tool, and then you can do some crazy shit with that or whatever. It makes sense that they keep going the build route, because I mean, obviously we've seen people do insane shit with the fucking physics in Breath of the Wild.
Hmm.
But not only that, but popularity wise, building stuff has been exploding. I mean, we got all these like Stardew Valley type games popping up, which is like pretty much a simulator, not building something, but you're farming and everything of that nature. Then you got Dragon Quest builders. You got Fortnite, which obviously is like one of the most popular games, and then obviously Minecraft, which is another really popular game. And they're probably looking at all this and saying like we can incorporate this into already our physics based. People are already doing crazy stuff into our physics based game, so let's incorporate it. How do we modernize Zelda for the right audience? And the right audience is the younger audience, when in terms of Nintendo and Zelda. And even though
Hmm.
you may think it's us, it's them. And I think even though I don't like the call, I think it's a right call for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom to progressively do this. Now, if it is the next game going to do this, I don't think so. I
I hope.
think,
I honestly hope not.
yeah, I don't think so because I think both Zeldas have been products of the time, in my opinion. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They came in at the exact right time and they capture a moment in time where like building is the mainstream thing for like the younger audience and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think the next Zelda is going to continue this. They may do the open world mantra, but they may go back to a more traditional sense of stuff or whatever. Because you have to think, like, even when the older Zeldas came out, right? Like that was the thing. It set the standard for what these adventure games should be and everything of that nature. Um,
Hmm.
and it led that, but now it's like I don't want to say chasing the fad, but like interweaving what it's doing also with what's mainstream. So it knows what it's doing, it knows what Zelda is, and then it's like, okay, but we can put build elements into it and everything like that. What can you do with an open world or whatever? And I
Yeah.
think that's what it did. And I think Tears of the Kingdom looks more fun in that way
Yeah.
um than like Breath of the Wild, So
Yeah.
like I said, it's not really for us, but I understand it and I respect it, and I think they knocked that part out of the park. Like that team knows what the fuck they're doing with Zelda. I mean, because they tried to do it. They thought, if you think about the last Zelda, right? Well, not the last Zelda, but well, yeah, the last Zelda. I think was it a Skyward Sword? Yeah, they thought
Before Breath of the Wild.
before,
Yeah.
yeah, they thought, and I'm talking about major consoles, not handheld. I know everyone's like, "Oh, well, what about Link Between the Past or Link Between the Past, Link Between Worlds?" And it's like, I'm not talking about those games, um, like console games. Like, yeah, Skyward Sword. They thought the Wii motion shit was the thing to do, right? And that game still sold well, but at the time, what was the whole fad? The PlayStation Move, Xbox Connect, Wii, motion stuff. Like
Hmm.
that was the fad. So, um, believe it or not, yeah, Zelda is just whatever the latest fad is. I mean, 64 got lucky and it set the trend for other games. Yes, in my opinion. Um, because it was just such a good game and it was like a fully 3D Zelda. Like that was like the first full 3D, actually,
Yeah.
like in my opinion, not fully 3D adventure game, but like just a overall experience in my opinion. I mean, you had games like, fucking Tomb Raider and everything like that. So they kind of cashed in
Right.
on that, and other games did the adventure game style well, but then you had 64 come out and they did their thing with it. They're like, okay, this is the fad, and how can we turn this on its head or whatever. So, yeah, it's crazy to say it, but yeah, Zelda has always been, like, if you think about it, just been like cashing in on the latest fads of what the hottest thing in gaming is, and this is the hottest thing in gaming, which is like that build Fortnite style, build your own fun type deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that builds your own fun, right? Minecraft's the prime example, right? I think this is I mean, this is why I didn't like Breath of the Wild, because it is a sandbox. Like that is
Yeah.
there are things to do within that sandbox, but it's a sandbox. And it sounds like Tears of the Kingdom is the same way. There's just more to do in the sandbox. But
Hmm.
and what I mean by sandbox is like Minecraft, right? Like in Minecraft, when you start the game and you start playing in survivor mode, the game just throws you randomly into a map. Like there's no anything cinematic. There's no NPCs. The game doesn't tell you what to do. You just thrown into the map and you figure it out. Like that's the
Yeah.
game. And then eventually you get to a point where you like the early part of that experience is fun, right? Just like the way it was in Breath of the Wild, right? You're learning everything. You're learning all the mechanics. What are the tools you have in your toolbox? But then eventually, within a few hours, you get to a point where okay, I know the basics of the game. I know what you can do. Okay, now what? And that's where it's like that is the make your own fun part of the game, where the game doesn't give you an objective. You go do whatever you want. And I have never I've those kind of games have like legitimately just never resonated with me personally,
Yeah.
in gaming. And that is the biggest thing with Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's not a sandbox in the same way Minecraft is, but it's in that realm.
Hmm.
And Tears of the Kingdom seems like it's deeper into that in some ways. and I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I'm the kind of person though, like there needs to be like a structure to the game, for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And I just feel like Breath of the Wild didn't have that structure. It was very loose. Like there's a really loose structure. Yes, there's like goals you can go kind of chase where okay, you want to go do all the shrines to get your hearts up and your stamina up, right? Like that's a thing you can go do. You can go do the divine beasts, but you don't. This is the problem. You don't have to do any of them, so it just doesn't feel like there's no drive to do them. Like the game isn't telling me go do this stuff. Like so, me as a player, I'm just like, okay, well then I don't. Should I even bother? Like, does it matter? Should I just go fight Ganon in the fucking Hyrule Castle? It's like I don't I don't like that lack of direction personally. It just doesn't work for me. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like for me, I have to be in the right mood to play these type of games.
same. Yep.
And unfortunately, like I can play Minecraft for hours. Um, it's a good like I can play like these Minecraft or Stardew Valley games, like just like I don't want to play anything hardcore or crazy. I just want to bug out and just whatever. The thing about Zelda is it's not that game for me and never
Right.
was that game for me.
Same.
Like it's not a super hardcore game or anything like that, but it always like, it's just a fun game to play, like a fun little adventure game to play or whatever. But now it's like a build your own fun adventure game. And it's like, I don't really want to do that. I just want to, play Zelda and, go into the dungeons, get the new fucking item and use the item to solve puzzles and stuff like that. And I mean they try to do that, and I feel like Breath of the Wild for me fell flat on it. In my opinion, I don't think that game's a 10 at all. I mean, everybody
Right.
knows that.
Yeah.
But it looks like Tears of the Kingdom is kind of picking up the slack to where they're giving you more tools and just like not being boring. So you can build more items and everything like that, which is cool because if I find like an item build I like to build, then I'll keep doing that or whatever till I get tired of it, then do something else or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe like I said, this one is the game for me. But I definitely understand your sentiment where you're saying like the build your own fun has not been. It's not my. It's I feel like it's a cop out, right? Because like the other side of that is like, oh, well, you're building your own fun. It's like, well, then why the fuck did I give you my money? Like I could
Exactly.
just,
No, that's my thing. No, that's my thing. It's like you were talking about with Riot using the community to kind of like do certain like keep certain things going. It's like,
yeah,
no, fuck you, dude. I'm paying for a game. Like, tell me what to do. Like, I want to
yeah,
fucking like, what is your vision of the fun in this game? You know,
yeah,
I don't, I just doesn't like. Okay, let me step back. I'm not saying that this doesn't work. Like I have played games that I have enjoyed a lot where the game
mhm,
is really open ended and it doesn't necessarily say go here, go there, do this, do that.
yeah,
Like I'm thinking of like fucking Arcanum, right, which is a really old like CRPG from the early 2000s. That game starts you off like you're in like a fucking Zeppelin crash and you're like the only survivor or whatever. And then it's like the steampunk fantasy world. It's actually a really fucking awesome game. But the point is, you meet a guy, you run around the intro zone, and you do all the stuff there. And then once you leave, the game's just like, okay, where do you want to go? And you just go wherever you want. Like, yes, they tell you there's a specific town maybe you want to go to like advance the main story, but you don't have to go there. Like, you can go to other places later in the game that are intended for later in the game. You can do that whenever you want, for the most
yeah.
part.
So
That kind of open endedness, I love that, but the game still has a story and a structure of like what you're trying to accomplish.
yeah, so I was gonna try to piggyback off what you said, and I think the thing with you is like Minecraft and everything like that. It doesn't have an artistic vision.
Yeah.
Like, what's your artistic vision for the game? And if the artistic vision is just have fucking fun, and it's like, all right, you can do whatever you want. That's the fun. That's my artistic
Yeah.
vision, complete freedom. And it's like, all right, well, maybe I don't really agree with that vision that you have, right? And I think like Zelda, right, or even like Fallout or like Witcher, for instance, right? You pass the first intro area,
Oh
and then
yeah,
the game kind of opens
definitely.
up, right?
Yep.
it still has CD Project Red still has a vision for you to go. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do in fucking in The Witcher. You know what I'm saying? But it has a vision for like what's going on and what your goals are and everything like that. I think the problem with Breath of the Wild for me is particularly Breath of the Wild, not the new one because I haven't played the new one, y'all. It lacked vision. It's like as far as like
Well,
artistic vision, and
yeah.
it just it was there, but it wasn't there. Like, yeah, you're supposed to save the king, or you're supposed to save the kingdom. You're supposed to kill
Yeah,
Ganondorf and
right.
everything. But
Yeah.
like, what is like Link's like? If you play Ocarina of Time, right, or Majora's Mask, those games have two drastically different visions. Like one's like kind of the standard you know
Zelda, yeah.
Zelda game, and Link's waking up and he's not the chosen one, but like he has the courage, you got to find himself and everything like that. Whereas like Majora's Mask is like diving into Link's psyche. It's like really fucking dark, and it's like this isn't the normal
And
Zelda
you have
that
this whole time mechanic, yeah, and everything,
exactly.
yeah.
And like Wind Waker is like the same way, right? Like Wind Waker is like, oh, you think it's a happy-go-lucky adventure, but like you're sailing on a boat. It's
Well,
like
that one's pretty open though, right? Like that
exactly.
one's open like Breath of the Wild, but okay. So yeah, like I got like four different thoughts that are all like converging at the same time. So yeah, your point about like I want to like Breath of the Wild, right? Some people are going to be like, "Okay, you want a goal, right? The game gives you a goal. Go fight Ganon." But like from the word jump, that is not an interesting goal. I fought Ganon before in Zelda games. I know how that goes, you know? Like I don't need to play Breath of the Wild to experience that, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's not going to be any fucking different than like Ocarina of Time, you know? It's so and I'm not. By the way, I've not fought Ganon in Breath of the Wild, but I'm pretty confident it's it is what it is. It's just a fucking boss fight, you know. And yeah, sure, I'm sure Hyrule Castle has this interesting pseudo dungeon aspect to it and all that, but it's like that as your only goal, and the fact that you can go do it whenever you want. That's not that completely takes away any excitement I have about doing anything in the game because like The Witcher is a really good example. Witcher 3 is a great example, right? Because that game gives you three distinct story quests right away. You can go do any of them you want in any order, right? Like you don't have to go to Velen first. You can,
Yeah.
you don't have to. You could go to Novigrad first. You could go to Skellige first. You could do it in any fucking order you want, you know? And so that's the thing. You don't have to go, you could spend 100 hours not doing any of the story quests. Like that's the kind of open I'm looking for though, because there's a main quest that is like I don't know what's going to happen in those main quests. It's not obvious. The game doesn't telegraph it to you the way Breath of the Wild does. It's like Breath of the Wild is just like go fight Ganon, bro, and you'll save the kingdom. Okay. I mean, you're kind of just telling me what's going to happen. Like, I mean, obviously I'm the hero and I'm going to win the fucking fight against Ganon. So that's the game. It's like, there's nothing exciting about that there for me. So I'm like, I want there to be some mystery in the goals of the game. And Breath of the Wild has no mystery at all. Once you understand the structure of it, the game is the same for the rest of it. Like the shrines are the shrines. They all give you the same fucking reward. There's nothing interesting about that. You're just at a certain point grinding, and even the shrines themselves, like there's certain templates of what shrines are, and there's probably, I don't know, 15 of them, and then they're all kind of the same within that framework after that.
Hmm.
And so I'm sure people would point to the divine beasts. They're not. The thing is, aesthetically, they're not different. Like they're all the same. So it's like I just felt like the game
Well,
artistic vision's a good way to put it. Like I just feel like that element wasn't tuned to what I like in games, I guess.
yeah, and like the reason why I'm gravitating towards Breath of the or Tears of the Kingdom, right? The world, it's artistic vision, and the world looks like it has a fucking personality. Um,
Yeah.
that was one thing because like people can say like, "Yeah, you're right, Montrell," like, or "You're right, Justin's right." Like, what about fucking Wind Waker? Right, that game was open world and there was just nothing but fucking water everywhere. But each island I went to, I felt like I was playing a different world. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense, each one had a story to tell me of how that island got there, why that island is there, and what are these people doing on this island. I didn't really when I visited the villages in Breath of the Wild, I just felt like I was visiting the same villages that were back in like the older games. Like, hey, remember these Gerudo girl women, or remember the Kokiri
Yeah,
village? And it's like,
right.
yeah, I
Or
remember
the
that.
Goron village,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the fucking Zora village, you
yeah,
know,
like
and it's
you
like,
remember them, but then if you like a good example of this, and I'm sorry to harp on this shit, but a good example of this, right, is like look at the Gorons in or no the Zora in fucking Majora's Mask and the Zora in fucking Ocarina of Time. They feel like two completely different people. Like the
yeah,
ones in Majora's Mask, right? They're like more free and like playing fucking
yeah.
music and everything like that. And then the ones in Ocarina of Time, when you went there, it felt like everybody was there, just there. It was more formal. People there to serve the king, the kingdom, and everything of that nature, right? It just felt different when you went to Gerudo uh, Palace or whatever. Those women were like, yo, we fucking hate the kingdom. We hate Hyrule. We don't like you. It was very like tense there. The spirit temple and everything. When you go down to the sewers of Kokiri Village, it felt like a dungeon. It felt like it was
Hmm.
telling a whole different story from something Nintendo never really torture and all that shit. People getting murdered down there and everything like that. And it was like this is a dark past of the fucking of Hyrule and everything. It just felt like so many different stories to where like these stories or these like levels have spawned fucking videos and theories and everything like that. And I don't really get that when I play Breath of the Wild. That's what was so disappointing about me for Breath of the Wild. Like
Mm.
the storytelling from the environments were just not there at all. Like they already told you the story. The world was destroyed and you went to sleep, and then this is the world when you wake up. And it's
Yeah, and
like,
then they spend the entire game like trying to fill in the gap of that 100
yeah,
years, and it's just not interesting at all,
it's just
dude.
not interesting at all. Like
Yeah.
I don't see that story coming through. Like the reason why people are like, well, why do you like Breath of the Wild and you like Elden Ring? And I'm like Elden Ring, and I go to different parts of the story, or I think Elden Ring and like Dark Souls in general do a phenomenal job. Even Sekiro, it's like the same world, but like each part of Sekiro, the land told you a fucking story. When you came into that world, you're like, why is this here? Why is this piece of thing here? Or why are these buildings crumbly? And like you can just walk through the world and tell like there was a story or artistic vision or something that the developing team was trying to tell you, and I didn't get that. But when I look at Tears of the Kingdom, I get that now. I'm like, wow, like each environment is really different, or not even really different. It's just like each part is trying to tell me something. There was a ruins, there was some kind of temple there. Why is it floating in the sky now? Why is this monster here now? It feels like it has an artistic vision, and that's what I like about it. I didn't get that from Breath of the Wild, and I'm sorry, y'all, but that's why I think that's like a bottom tier Zelda to me. Like even the 2D games, they tell you stories when you go into these environments, and this
Yeah,
Zelda
man. Link to the
doesn't.
past,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like Breath of the Wild doesn't do that for me, and I've been trying to figure it out for years. Just like, why don't I like this game? And that's what it was. Like it
Me
was
too,
just
man. Yeah, I
like
know.
it was just like because they none of the gameplay. Like people were right. The gameplay in Breath of the Wild to me is better than all the other gameplays, right? And I'm like, all right, so it's not the gameplay because like they have really simple combat in all the Zeldas. What the fuck is it? What the fuck is it?
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah,
don't
the
even know. I don't see. That's the thing. I don't know if I agree with that personally.
mhm.
Like, dude, I like Ocarina of Time's gameplay, like the combat, because
I mean I do too.
it's
It's just like I
simple
said,
and it's solid. Like it just works. You know.
yeah.
I feel like Breath of the Wild is like a shitty action game. You know. Eh, I mean, it is. It's just it's not. It's not remotely like it's not good. It doesn't stand up against Dark Souls or any fucking action game. You know, Neo or whatever. I mean, Neo probably doesn't want to stand up against Neo, but like Dark Souls is a way better action game than Breath of the Wild is. Like it's not even close. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's that can be subjective. Like I like
Yeah, I
Breath of
know.
the Wild
Yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
Like the everything, it's okay, but it's not like nothing crazy. Because I mean, somebody made a good point. Like, why would you want a Devil May Cry type combat Montreal from a game that never been that? And you know what? That's a very solid point, and I didn't even push back on it. I'm like, that's a very solid.
I know, but you're gonna start introducing light RPG mechanics and things like that, and then to be frank, I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Combat's actually always been a big part of Zelda.
No, it has.
It's
It
just
definitely has.
Yeah, and I don't think that's an excuse. By the way, like that opinion is not an excuse for them to not do a little bit more with the combat. I'm not saying it needs to be fucking Dark Souls or Devil May Cry or Neo, but it could have been better than it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Certainly. So
They definitely could have, you know, made it a little bit more flashier or made a little bit more nuance to the combat or whatever. And I think their nuance was that, the time stop mechanic and everything of that nature with the physics. Because I've seen people do crazy combos in that with that shit. And I'm like, I mean, how many times do you practice that though? Like, I don't know. It seems like
yeah.
something you can't just do in your everyday, flow or whatever. But uh I think I think that's one thing that people miss the ball on. Like every review I see of the game and everything like that, like and then even for people like me, it took me years to understand because there are people out there who don't like the game, and you ask them why, and they're just like, I don't know, I just don't like it. And I think it's just the lack of vision, man. Like that's to me that just has to be like the number one thing. Um, because I mean, on paper, I should like this Zelda. Like it's because DJ said that to me. He was like, Montrell, you've been wanting an open world Zelda to where you're not tied to the bounds of the dungeon system or whatever, like the dungeon order. And I'm like, man, you're absolutely fucking right. Like I've been looking for this since the very first Zelda that did that when you just take this fucking sword and then go and then that's it. Like you're out in the random wild. Like that was the very first Zelda, and then this Zelda does it, but it's just like there's no personality to it. I don't fucking know. Like
Well,
the
yeah,
very
dude.
first
Like,
Zelda can get away with that because it's like an 8-bit
yeah.
fucking game, you know? But like,
Well, I'm thinking of Link to the Past, right? Like, I think what I always wanted out of Zelda eventually was like Link to the Past, but a 3D open world game,
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what Breath of the Wild could have been. Because yeah, Link to the Past, like, there is a dungeon order early in the game, but later on you can kind of fudge it. Like, you can do things out of order. Like, there's
Mhm.
not a strict dungeon order in the second half of the game, um, per se. And I think that's more what I'm looking for. I still want dungeons. I don't necessarily need them to be in a strict order or like hard lock your progress in the game necessarily, like a Metroid game or something. But I still want them to be there, and I don't know. I think a lot of this is the aesthetic. I didn't like the aesthetic of Breath of the Wild, the technological um kind of horrors that they had in the game with the divine beasts and then the kind of like the ancient guardians and shit like that and all the mechanical enemies that you would fight. I did not like that. I don't like that stuff in Zelda, to be like quite frank. Like, it just didn't work for me because that's another aspect. I just that aesthetic was definitely a turn off too, a
Mhm.
lot of the time, and that's not going away in this game. So, in Tears of the Kingdom, so that's still going to be an issue for me. But I don't know. I think the greater density of things to do though will certainly help. So, I don't know if I'm probably not buying the game tomorrow, because I'm not going to
No,
play it
I'm
right
I'm
away.
definitely not buying it
But
tomorrow, but I will mute it on my timeline because I know there's
yeah,
gonna be a lot of clips of it.
yeah,
And on my YouTube feed, I'm gonna mute it. But I think that was the because as I was just looking at that Zelda, man, I'm like, man, this game looks really fucking good. Like the world looks good and everything like that.
hmm
And that's what it was. It was just the bland world and everything like that of Breath of the Wild. Um,
hmm
I don't know, because I'm a real big sucker. Like as much as I love action combat and everything like that, I'm a huge sucker for like level design, world feeling, and everything like that. I want to feel like the world is telling me a fucking story when I'm playing
yeah,
the game. Um,
yeah,
which is why I probably like Elden Ring so much, or I like From Software games so much because their worlds are just like everything kind of like tells a story to you. Um,
right,
and I don't think a lot of people understand why From Software is From Software. There are some people who get it, like the diehard purist. Um, oh shit, I don't know. I'm sorry, I got a text message. But yeah, there are some people who get it, but other people think it's just because the game is just hard or whatever. And it's like, no, it's just because like even Sekiro, like that one had the weakest of all the From Software games, story telling through the
Oh
world
yeah,
because you kind of already knew what was going on.
yeah,
But even still, like they still had a lot of good things were like why certain enemies were here and everything of that nature and why this was burned down and all the other shit like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just really cool.
yep. Well, when we play it, we'll certainly both talk about it and give our thoughts on the game. So, but yeah, it's coming out. By the time you hear this, it will be out. So I'm sure if you liked Breath of the Wild, I think this game will certainly be up
Yeah,
up
I think
your
this game would definitely be a step up from Breath of the Wild,
yeah,
for sure.
right.
Like even I'm excited for it, and
Yep.
I really wasn't that excited for Breath of the Wild. So yeah,
Yep. All right, fair enough. All right, well, Montreal, we managed to go a pretty good a long amount of time actually with no news to talk about. So,
yep.
is there anything you want to talk about before we go?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, well, let's wrap the show up then. All right, guys, if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage. That is the number 4, not the word. That's from Montreal. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. Uh, if you want to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01 at gmail.com. And that's going to be it for us this week, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week. Bye.